Hey guys, it's Dana. I wanted to hop on and talk to you about Disulfiram dosing and induced psychosis. I think a lot of people are afraid when they hear psychosis, which it is a scary thing to happen, but I kind of want to explain what's going on and what Disulfiram is doing at a certain dose. So there's been a lot of circulating information about Disulfiram causing psychosis, and I wanted to kind of clear the message on that and what's going on due to what I've researched. So I have a science background and I really enjoy reading publications, and I found several, and I'll put some of them down in the description below, on Disulfiram back in the 60s and 70s, talking about the modes of action and what they have seen in case studies. What the typical dose that we found to treat Lyme has been 500 milligrams. So I feel like everybody's making their way up to 500 milligrams, but now that we've all kind of trialed and errored it, we can kind of see that 500 milligrams isn't always the target dose, because a lot of people are having problems and most people cannot tolerate that high of dosage. You know, back when they did that study, they didn't know what to start people on, so that was just their go-to starting. And I remember one person, he stayed in the psych ward for almost the entire duration of his treatment. He did say that it was worth it and he hasn't had any symptoms return, but at the same time, I think that I don't think that 500 milligrams is even needed to treat Lyme or show progress in any of our treatment plans. So let's talk about what psychosis is. It doesn't mean that you're insane. It doesn't mean that like you're gonna go and eat people's faces off. It just simply is a medical term to describe an imbalance in your neurotransmitters. We have a bunch of neurotransmitters that I won't get into, but I'll talk about the three basic ones that you hear a lot. So serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. So serotonin has been known for a long time as like the happy neurotransmitter. So a lot of our antidepressants target serotonin in the brain. The next is dopamine. We'll see that a lot of that targeted in stimulants like Adderall and Vyvanse and all of those other stimulants to increase focus and motivation. And norepinephrine has been targeted in some antidepressants, not as much as serotonin, but they all kind of coincide together. It's not about the quantity of neurotransmitters that you have, but the balance of neurotransmitters that you have. Okay, so when you have high serotonin, it causes serotonin syndrome, and you'll see that a lot on the warning labels on the back of antidepressants and some other serotonin reuptake medications. So what that means is you'll feel nauseous, you'll vomit, you'll have chills, you'll have fever, and sometimes it can even cause death. So a lot of times when you have serotonin syndrome, you're in the hospital getting treated. So when you have high dopamine, that's when you see a lot of schizophrenia symptoms. A part of psychosis is called derealization. Derealization is a feeling like you're out of body, out of reality. It feels like you're outside of your body looking at a movie playing. You don't feel like you're in this realm. Only experienced it one time, and it is the scariest symptom I have ever been through in my life. It's a manifestation of heightened anxiety. So that is caused by heightened dopamine. The medical definition of psychosis and derealization is an alteration in perception or experience of the external world that it seems unreal. So that's a better way to describe it. Extreme anxiety. Another symptom is grandiose thoughts, which means that you think that you're this all-powerful God, or you think that you do no wrong. Just kind of over-the-top, heightened feelings of self-importance. That's why a lot of mood stabilizers that you see, or antipsychotics, which I think are a terrible name for those medications, their mode of action is to lower dopamine. The next neurotransmitter I want to talk about is norepinephrine, and this is epinephrine. When you have high norepinephrine, it's usually because you have high dopamine. So dopamine usually turns into norepinephrine. So if you have high dopamine, you're going to have high epinephrine probably as well. So that is contributing to your fight or flight reaction to something that's stimulating. There's quite a few published case reports and studies done in the 60s and 70s that explains one of the mode of actions of disulfiram, which is the inhibition on an enzyme called dopamine-Beta-Hydroxylase. Hydroxylases are enzymes that break down molecules and hormones, and there's the physiology of the human body is so complex, but when you have an enzyme that breaks down something and you block that enzyme from working, it's going to increase something that it's supposed to be breaking down. And so in this situation, they have found that disulfiram at a higher dose has more risk of inhibiting this special enzyme that we use to break down dopamine. And that can cause a problem in some people. It's all about your genetics, and it's not really something we know a lot about right now. So at higher levels, one paper said that doses above 375 milligrams were inducing psychosis, and as soon as it was lowered back to 250 milligrams, all symptoms abated. I know we are all guinea pigs here, but I no longer believe that 500 milligrams is my target dose to get better. I'm feeling progress at much lower doses. Like, if you watched my latest, I went back to 125 milligrams every other day because I started feeling better at that dose. And I feel like because I have a detox issue, it's a way for me to kind of catch up. And then this is not a sprint, this is a marathon, and it's gonna take me a long time to clear up this infection, and I'm fine. I'm ready for the long haul, but I also don't want to make myself more sick because I feel like there's this cookie cutter dose that I need to get to. Obviously, this is just my opinion. This is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. I just have done a lot of research, and I feel that 500 milligrams is not attainable for a lot of people. So I just want you to feel like you don't have to get to that dose to feel better. I'm doing so much better on such a low dose, and I continue to increase it to 250 eventually, but I'm gonna take my time, and I'm gonna listen to my body. God bless. I hope you feel better, and don't forget to increase the 3 P's: pee, poop, and perspire. Bye guys.